Our sponsor, True Classic Tees, has the best fitting t-shirt a man can buy. It's the one-stop shop for your favorite casual crew necks, polos, and activewear. They do the styling, you do the wearing. It's that simple. Most t-shirts are too tight in all the wrong places or look way too big and boxy. There's no in-between, guys. That's until now. True Classic makes a t-shirt that fits just right. And right now, our listeners can get access to the best deal they have ever offered for a limited time only. Get 25% off with the code Chael at trueclassic.com. Their tees are snug around the arms and the chest to make your muscles pop, but they leave a little bit of wiggle room in the torso for extra comfort. Not only will you get the perfect fit, but you will also get the softness that's always wanted at an affordable price. Worried about sizing? True Classic leaves no man behind. For the bigger boys out there, there is tall and triple X sizing. Guys, upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Save 25% right now when you go to trueclassic.com and use the promo code Chael. Plus, free shipping on all orders over $100. Do you guys know how the West was won? I mean, you know that story about that? People come out west. You got all sorts of land. It's just sitting there empty. There's no enterprise. There's no residential. There's no commercial. There's no businesses of any kind. Now you get the bodies. What do? Somebody's got to own that land, or we got to take care of it. That's the way the government looked at it. So you get all these boys together. They're on horseback, and they tell them, go. You got to wait till the guy says go, but the sheriff says go. You ride out as far as you want. When you get to where you want to be, you put your stake in the ground. It's called a claim. Are you aware of that? True story. Didn't pay a goddamn penny for it. It's yours now to take care of, but it's also yours to crop and to farm and to develop and to someday sell. Did you ever play video games? 7-Eleven? Specifically 7-Eleven. You guys remember they used to have 2 video games. Every 7-Eleven, they had Frogger. Remember that terrible game? And they had Super Mario Brothers, which came in and replaced Asteroids. All right, good enough. But if you want to play Super Mario, if you want your shot to get the princess, you don't just stand there behind the doofus with the big gulp whose belly's resting on the controller. You have to put your quarters up top. That's how you say that you're next. Then you get some smart jerk that puts like 4 quarters up there and he takes it up for the whole rest of the day. But do you remember this? Did you adhere to those rules? Did you try to push anybody out of the way when you thought it was your turn, but they reached up and they had their quarter? You go, doggone it. Forgot about that, right? We all understood it. There's something important about taking your claim. Watching Michael Chandler at press day was the thing of beauty. Michael Chandler went as far as to say, I'm going to take the title opportunity from Volkanovski. He then began to pull apart the fight of Volkanovski versus Islam. Chandler's calling that a super fight. He got to that definition, I believe, because it's 2 guys from 2 different weight classes that are both champions. You have a super fight. I agree with him. I think of it as a super fight too. And he's saying that Islam should have to beat guys within the division before he goes and he has super fights. And you know what? That's not a terrible point. I don't know of anybody that's ever had a super fight that one wasn't a champion or moreover hadn't defended that championship. Like Chandler is not without historical foundation to make that statement. He's not going to interrupt the fight. I'm just saying he's also not going to look like a fool by saying it. And he's now made his claim. If Chandler beats Poirier, okay? Chandler beats Poirier. And Volkanovski calls up and that hand injury and it's re-hurt and he can't meet you in Perth and this whole thing's up. Who do you think it goes to next? I'll listen to you. I understand there's a few that are going to say Benny. And I'll understand some other ones say, well, Benny's going to fight Charles. But if I really hold you to that, you're not going to make the decision at all. You're going to default to whoever made the claim. Same as any other job you ever hire for. You don't open up a job position, get the resumes in and think, you know what, I went to school with this girl named Sarah. God, I haven't talked to her in 7 years. She'd be great for this. No, you don't do that. You go to the stack of people that have turned in a resume and said that they want to have the job. Michael Chandler has made a claim. I like it a lot. I do not think you should sidestep for anybody. Michael Chandler is about to fight a former world champion. If you beat a world champion, you get to fight for a world championship. Everybody knows that. He's doing it in a feature bout in the media capital of the world and at Madison Square Garden. He had a media opportunity. He took his shot, and you know what? It was a home run. It wasn't a grand slam, but it was a home run. He is the only one that has made the claim. He's saying if I beat Poirier, I should have that opportunity. Fights fall apart all the time. There is no guarantee of Volkanovski in Islam. Just by example, I'm telling you what you already know. But why is nobody else positioning? I see this mistake made over and over. I can just move up a weight class to 170 pounds. Everybody has stepped aside. So Kamaru Usman can go and fight Leon. They think it's going to be next year. They think it's going to be around April. They think it's going to be in England. And they've all just accepted that. I can move up to the heavyweight division where we only have 2 guys in the top 10 that are in their 20s. You got a whole row of dinosaurs, and 3 of them apparently get to play by themselves and do a round robin whenever it's convenient for them. However that all works out. One guy that was carried out of his last fight, another guy who's never competed in the division, and another guy who doesn't want to be there and apparently has an injury. I mean, these are the 3 guys, and they're just let them go play by themselves. You have Jon Jones, who is the youngest UFC champion of all time. What an incredible claim. If there's any part of my body language or tone that sounds like I'm putting him down, no, of course I'm not. The youngest UFC champion ever. What an amazing thing. Jon Jones is now the oldest #1 contender in the UFC. You cannot correct me on that. It was TJ Dillashaw. As of 2 weeks ago, Jon was not. TJ Dillashaw had his opportunity. The oldest #1 contender that we've already been told will be fighting for a belt in the entire organization, any weight class, any gender, any way you want to do it, is now Jon Jones, who sat out for 3 years. But nobody else is making that claim. John and Stipe and France, they're over here. Nobody's making that claim. Okay, let's just back it on down. We're seeing at 205 pounds the most resisted rematch I've personally ever witnessed. Because nobody else made the claim. There was nobody else there. You go down to 170 pounds. If something bad was to happen, and it's not just to Kamaru Usman, it's also to Leon. You have interim championships, things that have been tested. We don't have anybody that's trying to insert themselves there. They've all stood back. They think it makes sense. Let's show a level of respect to Kamaru Usman. He was the greatest to have done it. He was one in the fight. He got caught. Let's be real fair and let's give it to Kamaru Usman. I can appreciate that. But what if? And what if happens all the time? Now you come down to 55. You have one guy who stepped forward who says it should be me. And doesn't want it handed to him, by the way. He doesn't want you to give it to him. He wants to go out and earn it. On Saturday over a former world champion. Where is the flaw within this logic? Where's the flaw in the argument? Do you disagree with what I'm saying? If Volkanovski can't show up and Chandler gets a win, do you not think that it should be Chandler? Do you think that we got to go back and forth and we got to talk to Benny and we got to see what Charles is doing? I mean, maybe you do. But do you think that's going to hold up? Do you think when they grab a megaphone and they start screaming that Chandler's going to come in second in that contest? He made the claim. He's got his quarter on the machine. He rode horseback and he put his stake in the ground. There's something very important to do. What is the longest lasting truck on the road? Who is the greatest boxer of all time? What is America's most selling hamburger? You can answer all those questions, but you've never proven any of them. Muhammad Ali is the greatest boxer of all time. That is the answer to the question, because Muhammad Ali said he was the greatest boxer of all time. And more importantly, he's the first to have said it. That is why that holds up. I don't know that Chevy's got more miles than Ford. I know it doesn't beat Nissan or Toyota, but I know what the commercial says. It's the longest lasting truck on the road. You got to make the claim, guys. You have to start with the claim. Your enemies will then come in and pick it apart. Chandler's made the claim, where are the enemies? Who's going to pick it apart? They didn't stick up for themselves. They didn't stick up for them damn self. They're not going to get in his way. And what are they going to do? It over social media? He's in Madison Square Garden. He's in the media mecca of the world. He's taking his shot. He's standing down to nobody. He's saying, this is the fight. This is the one. We will find out when we come out of this who the number one contender is. You've got to make your claim.